Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, has served many iconic looks. So many that when I'm trying to rate them all for our Sussex style videos and those lists that I like to do, I actually have to categorize the lists by year, color, length, and several other details to whittle them down, lest the videos would be hours long. A consistent brand on these lists, collaborating with Meghan to deliver several in vogue pieces and meet Meghan's standards of being de rigueur in all settings, is Safiyaa. The styles of Safiyaa are described as an easy yet elegant balance, according to its founder, Daniela Karnitz, which is a perfect fit for the most influential royal woman in decades, Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. Safiyaa's most notable and iconic piece is the blue caped gown worn by Meghan in Fiji. While Meghan's looks have been copied by her biggest fans, even those within her own family, no one can quite do it like her. So today, I wanted to talk about Meghan's influence and how she's effortlessly stepped into the role as the most iconic royal family member, just like her mother-in-law. And also, those who've been trying to copy and failing to get a little bit of that shine. So let's get started. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of this video, I wanted to start by simply revisiting some of my favorite style moments from Princess Meghan in Safiyaa. We'll start with the iconic blue cape-back gown she wore in Fiji. It was so mesmerizing, Vogue had this to say about it. Images of the Duchess in a royal visit to Fiji went viral almost instantly. This was the first gown she'd been photographed in since her wedding, as well as one of her first public appearances after announcing her pregnancy. But the dress itself left a lasting impression. The striking color mirroring the Fijian flag, the elegant cape detail, the narrow, unfussy silhouette. A few decades ago, a royal tour would have mandated a ball gown and gloves, but this was a fresh, modern alternative. In fact, Meghan even looked comfortable. Graceful, yet comfortable. And of course, we have to talk about this little number that Meghan wore to the annual Royal Variety performance. This is a Safiyaa sequin top covered in black and white flowers and a floor-grazing fishtail skirt. This was described as minimal, elegant, and it also showed that her style didn't diminish, especially when she took on maternity wear. She actually served some of her best looks in maternity wear. And one of my favorite looks from Meghan ever, but definitely my favorite Safiyaa dress, was the dress that they wore in their last series of events as senior working royals after they had announced earlier in the year that they would be stepping back. They made an appearance at the Mountbatten Music Festival, an event at the Royal Albert Hall that features military musicians and raises money for the Royal Marines Association. Meghan continued her winning style streak by wearing a stunning red dress by Safiyaa with a shoulder cape and draped back detail. It was even more sculptural silhouette than Meghan had typically gravitated to at that time. Vogue was just as enamored by this dress as everyone else was. They actually featured it in several articles, and they do so every year. It's one of the most covered pieces ever. To give the ensemble even more of a wow factor, Meghan paired the colorful frock with matching red accessories, including red suede pumps by Stuart Weitzman, a satin Manolo blonde clutch, and dangly gemstone earrings by Simone Rocha. She's also been known to support English designers, which is such a sweet touch. Prince Harry, meanwhile, who is Captain General of the Royal Marines, wore a red uniform decorated with medals from his tours in Afghanistan. Together, the Duke and Duchess cemented their status as one of the most regal and best-dressed House of Windsor couples in history. And that is directly from Vogue. While Safiyaa focuses on making stunning pieces, they also hyper-focus on comfort, which is something I can appreciate because that's something that's often overlooked, but very necessary. However, with Meghan's stunning ease and elegance and her sophistication, it makes her the perfect poster girl for their brand. But that doesn't stop other people from trying to do the same. And like I said before, failing miserably. Before we get into that, if you haven't already, feel free to go ahead and like this video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on that notification bell. Now, like I said, other people have tried to have that same special moment by having their own cape dress made, and it just didn't work out. But now they're trying again with yet another Safiyaa piece, and as before, it was widely ignored. Now, what made this episode in the series of misadventures of copycats so egregious is how close she tried to get to the original iconic dress. For instance, the sleeves. They were created to give the same effect as the original cape dress. Also, the color. It's in the same color family as the original dress that Meghan wore. And also the neckline and the silhouette in general, which, if you dress yourself for yourself, you will find the silhouettes that work for you. But when you dress to compete with others and you copy, you miss that very important step. This silhouette does not flatter Kate and her elongated belly. It just doesn't look right. Her waist is very low. She has a very dropped waist silhouette. This frame and this silhouette did not fit her. Not only that, but this wasn't fit to her, or at least with her in mind, and you can tell because the dress shield is actually popping out. You can see it through the fabric. It gives a terrible impression. This looks right off the rack. It just doesn't look right on her. And she didn't even dress it up with the correct jewelry, again, because she's worried about competing and not possibly looking her best. Also, she had her makeup done as close to Meghan's as possible. Again, strike two, because here's the thing. When you do your makeup, you should be trying to look like the best version of yourself. Makeup is meant to emphasize your already beautiful features. When you do your makeup to copy someone else without yourself and your features in mind, then you get this effect. Washed out. It aged her by 20 years. It was way too dark and it did not match her skin. It did not look good at all. But I think what is the most outrageous about her copying this look, not just the designer and the silhouette and the color and the makeup, but the fact that she had her hair cut and styled to be as close to Meghan's as possible. This was when I said, she needs help. She absolutely needs help. Her most recent attempt to channel some of that magic garnered between Meghan and Safiyaa was at her recent trip to Wimbledon. Now for this dress, I'll say this. It looks more like Kate. This looks like it was made for Kate. This looks like something she would pick. Before she started copying Meghan, and even after she stopped copying everything about Diana, she had a small window where she was finding pieces that actually looked like something she would pick. Now again, I'm all about traditional looks. I love vintage, but I am one of those people who feel like you have to bring vintage into the now. It has to fit into your personal style. However, it doesn't look like she's gotten that far. Maybe she will, maybe she won't. But what I will say, this does look more in line with her style prior to Meghan, when she became obsessed and started copying everything Meghan did. Do I still feel like this dress belongs in a time period maybe 40 to 50 years ago? Absolutely. Do I feel like it fits Kate? Yep, because that's her style. She's more comfortable dressing like someone else. And for a long time, before she copied Diana and before she copied Meghan, she was copying Queen Elizabeth's old vintage style. So it looks like she's back to that. And I'm glad that Safiyaa could accommodate her. It's still not a knockout dress, but not every dress is going to be a knockout dress. I think it's well made because Safiyaa makes great pieces. But I also think it looks like Kate's style, and that's not the best show for the brand. Regardless, one of the things that I've always found the most insane about the Copycat series is the fact that not only is it rude and just kind of diabolical to copy someone else, that's also very strange, but then two, how mean and nasty she was to Meghan in the first place, only to try and copy everything about her. I've always felt like there was some sort of mental issue there, and I still feel that way. However, that wasn't the first time that's happened, and far from it. One of the more notable examples of this happening was the fact that Camilla has spent years copying Diana. And somehow it literally snuck right up under my gaze. I have no idea how I didn't notice it. Maybe because it was a lot more subtle, and a lot of the copying she was doing was copying looks from over 20, 30, 40 years ago. So I wouldn't immediately notice it. However, the Lady Dior bag, the one that was made for Princess Diana, is apparently Camilla's favorite bag, which is diabolical. She's just like her stepdaughter-in-law. Maybe even more so. I would say more so. Camilla is a piece of work. They're in there together. I'll say that. Birds of a feather flock together. But also, her coronation dress designer was one of Princess Diana's favorite designers and a very old friend. I also took a look at an entire series of looks where Camilla appeared to be copying Princess Diana. The whole family's crazy. Camilla's copying Diana, someone she was obsessed with for years and even stole her husband. And then, of course, Kate copying Meghan, someone she's obsessed with and wanted her husband. And we've talked about that. There's no way you should be looking at your brother-in-law like that. I know Harry was so uncomfortable. Like, get this hyena away from me. Either way, I had no idea it was so prevalent. I've linked it in the description box below. I just wanted to take a super short break to say, if you have not already, please don't forget to go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and if you are interested, feel free to participate in the live chat going on now, or feel free to leave a comment if you do not wish to engage in the live chat. Once again, I know I do this all the time. I'm enjoying a channel, I'm enjoying the video, I'm just having a great time, and I completely forget to hit subscribe. So please don't forget to hit subscribe. Don't forget to comment if you wish, and please don't forget to hit that thumbs up button so that the algorithm on YouTube knows that you like my content. Now, let's get back to the show. Of course, I'm not implying that Meghan is the only person who should have access to Safiyaa. It's a wonderful brand with wonderful pieces and great designers, and I hope it continues to grow. All I'm saying is, out of all the designers in the world that Kate could have picked, why is she always seeming to find brands and pieces and makeup and hair that are similar to what Meghan has done, is doing, or to the people that Meghan relies on to help her create her looks? Why are you always copying? Why can't you find a different brand? And what's even more sinister about it is Kate accused Meghan of trying to steal her fashion contacts. It just keeps getting worse the deeper you dive into it. It's, like I said, diabolical. It doesn't make any sense. But again, to people who aren't suffering from jealousy in that way, it wouldn't make sense. And so I'm relieved. I believe in supporting women, supporting people, and being there for one another. The way that Kate treated Meghan makes me feel like her obsession with her is even more sinister than just being a bully. It's almost like she wants to be her. And that terrifies me. And the same can be said for Camilla. How nasty and mean she was to Diana. The fact that she told Diana she wasn't going to stop seeing her husband because Diana was wanted by every man in the world and she had so much going for her. Why couldn't she just sacrifice having her husband? To me, there is no other word that could describe that other than pure insanity. Mind you, at the time, Camilla was very much married to her first husband as well. I think the thing that the two of them have in common, and it can be explained through fashion, but also on a deeper level, is that both of them are deeply insecure. Neither of them have very strong moral character, and both of them have an object of affection that isn't necessarily the man on their arm, it's the women that they're obsessed with. Every day, it becomes more and more clear that I am relieved, and I will continue to feel relief, that Harry and Meghan got away from those soul snatchers. And even from across the pond, they're still trying to channel their light. And we'll just have to let them keep doing that. They need hobbies and they clearly aren't going to work. So they've got to find something to do. Either way, I'm still very happy to continue to support Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, who I'm sure didn't even notice this little snafu. And I'm glad because they have way too much to do. They are very sought after people. They have successes and awards and work and philanthropy. Their plate is full. They don't have the time to worry about what some other person is wearing, and they have even less time to try and copy it. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and it was really nice to walk back down memory lane and take a look at some of Meghan's pieces with Safiyaa, and I hope we get more in the future. If you haven't already, feel free to go ahead and like this video, share so more people can find it, and don't forget to subscribe. Once again, thank you so much for your support, and I'll see you in tomorrow's live stream at 1 p.m. Bye! everybody. Welcome back to the SharionSade